The Nobel Prize honors courage, creativity, and perseverance, qualities that define the individuals whose work has made a profound impact on humanity and transformed the world you live in. Established through the will of inventor and entrepreneur Alfred Nobel, the Nobel Prize is awarded to individuals and organizations whose efforts have conferred the greatest benefit to humankind. The original prizes were in physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature, and peace. In 1968, a prize in economic sciences was added. The Nobel Prize Museum is dedicated to the Nobel Prize, its inspiring laureates, and the groundbreaking achievements that have shaped our world. The museum is located in Stockholm's historic Old Town, on the ground floor of the 18th-century former Stock Exchange building. Through exhibitions and programs spanning science, literature, peace, and economics, the museum explores how ideas can truly change the world. This is more than a museum. It's a tribute to those who imagine boldly, act bravely, and strive tirelessly. From scientists and writers to peacemakers and pioneers, it honors those who dared to believe they could change the world, and did. These Things Changed the World is a permanent exhibit displaying over 250 items donated by Nobel Prize laureates. The objects on display are rotated so specific items change over time. The permanent exhibition showcases a remarkable collection of personal items donated by Nobel Prize laureates, objects that held deep meaning in their lives and work. Their stories offer inspiration and hope for the future. This workbench comes from the workshop at the former Lenin shipyard in Gdansk, where Lech Wałęsa worked as an electrician. Contour maps of a ribosome donated by Joachim Frank. Rigoberta Menchú donated a traditional Guatemalan blouse, which represents the struggles of indigenous peoples in Guatemala. The ICBL donated a Mekong wheelchair made in Cambodia for people who lost one or both legs due to landmines. This 1944 model Fontanella Pesaro accordion was given to Louis Ignarro by his parents for his 6th birthday. Marie Skłodowska Curie used this type of instrument to determine the atomic weight of the element radium in 1907. At the Nobel Prize Museum, you can see some of the manuscripts and letters written by Albert Einstein. Nelly Sachs, who received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1966, fled Nazi Germany in 1940. The museum displays the suitcase she carried during one of the last civilian flights from Berlin. A pink shawl worn by Malala Yousafzai when she spoke at the UN, emblematic of her fight for girls' education. Economist David Card donated a magnetic tape that he used in his research during the 1980s to 1990s. The Korean author Kang donated this teacup she used as part of her writing routine. This fountain pen, belonging to the 1961 literature laureate Ivo Andrić, is part of the collection. Here you can see glasses, a manuscript, and a stone belonging to José Saramago. The Nobel Prize Museum displays original patent documents from Alfred Nobel.
Hi, my name is Laura and I am the Museum Educator Manager here at the Nobel Prize Museum, and I will tell you a little bit about this museum and what you can see here. So this museum is about the Nobel Prize in general, the Nobel laureates, and of course in the background here you see Alfred Nobel, because he was the founder of the prize. So he's a small part in the museum, but he is the reason why we exist. The Nobel Prize is awarded on the 10th of December, which is the day when Alfred Nobel died in 1896. The first prize was awarded 5 years later in 1901 and has been awarded every year since 1901, with a few exceptions during the two world wars. It's awarded in 5 different prize categories that were stated in the will of Alfred Nobel. So Alfred Nobel said that the prize should be awarded every year in physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature and peace. These people that are awarded each year, they come here to Stockholm. People that are awarded the Peace Prize go to Oslo, because that's where the Peace Prize is awarded, and they receive their prize. The money that they receive comes from the fund that Alfred Nobel left. He stated in his will that he wanted his money placed in a fund, and then each year they should use the interest from the fund and split it in 5. So this is why there is still money. It's a big fund, about 6 billion Swedish kroner, which means that they get a lot of money, the laureates, because there's a lot of interest. Last year it was 11 million Swedish kroner, which is roughly $1 million, depends on the exchange rate, and that is per prize category. Then there's a rule that up to 3 people can share a Nobel Prize. So behind me here we have these screens where we always have pictures of the latest Nobel laureates. So this is the first thing that you see when you come into the museum. And this is a nice thing, because the laureates, they come here to the museum as the starting point of their week in Stockholm. They have a whole week of program. So before the 10th of December, the program starts on the 6th with their get-together, where they actually come here. We place them just in front of these screens, and it's just the first introduction meeting so they can meet each other before the big event on the 10th. So this is 2024 and the Chemistry Prize, which was shared by 3 men, David Baker, Demis Hassabis and John Jumper. And last year was like a big AI year, 2 prizes for AI. The 2 men to the right, Hassabis and Jumper, made a computer program that has managed to map out the structure of all the proteins known to man until now. I mean, there are chemists that have been able to figure out the structure of proteins, but a couple of hundred were known, and the data that already existed was fed into the program that they made, AlphaFold 2. And with this, in 2 years, they managed to map out the whole protein structure, which is a huge breakthrough in science. And Hassabis, I wanted to show you, he donated something to us, which had to do with his career. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is a showcase where we have the latest donations. We actively ask the Nobel Laureate for objects. This is our collection. We collect objects from the Nobel Laureates. So before they come to Stockholm, we actually contact them in advance and ask them for an object. And on the 6th of December, when they have the get-together, most of them bring something to us. So this is from last year, and you see this cute little picture of this young boy, Demis Hassabis. He started to play chess when he was 4 and started to compete. And what happened was he started to make a lot of money from winning these chess tournaments. So when he was 11, with the money, he was able to buy his first computer. And he kind of changed paths. He got into computer science and became this computer genius that he is now. So here, first of all, we have an installation with all the Nobel laureates. You see the banners up here? So they start from the entrance, and they're over there, they're just queuing, and then they come down here, and you can stand here and watch them all pass. And this is, I say an installation because, I mean, you could stand here for a whole day and look through the laureates. It's exactly 1,012 laureates up there. I didn't mention, but there is a 6th prize, which is the prize in economic sciences, which was added later on by the Swedish Central Bank It's not considered, it is not a Nobel Prize in that sense, because it's not allowed to be called a Nobel Prize, but it's been incorporated into, they get the prize at the same ceremony, but the money comes from the bank. But we count the economy laureates as well, so they are up there. We also count the Peace Prize, which is awarded in Norway, which can also be awarded to organizations. So an organization counts as one. And we also count the few people that have received 2 Nobel Prizes. We count them twice because it's 2 different prizes. The most famous was Marie Curie. She was the first woman to receive the Nobel Prize in 1903. She received the second prize in 1911. She's the only woman to have received 2 prizes. If you see the Petri dish on the wall, it is the original mold that Alexander Fleming discovered when he discovered penicillin in 1928. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin kind of by accident. He was doing research on bacteria. He had some Petri dishes just laying around in his laboratory, and he went on holiday. And when he came back, he was a very curious man. So he looked at the Petri dishes and he discovered that in one of them, there was mold that had settled. Some spores that just flew in from the window, probably settled, and where the mold was, the bacteria had died. Okay, this is something really big. Maybe we can use it to kill bacteria in our body that attack our bodies. One of my favorite objects is the peanut butter. I like it when we get things that are very unexpected. I like that because I've worked here for a long time. So sometimes when it's like, we do get a lot of books, as you can see. And that's not as exciting, but it's quite nice. But something that was very unusual was the jar of peanut butter from Carolyn Bertozzi, chemistry laureate in 2022. She also gave us a book, actually. So next to the peanut butter is a book in organic chemistry, which is a course that she took. She was actually studying medicine. She took a course in organic chemistry, and this made her like change paths and fall in love with chemistry, start to study chemistry. While writing her doctor's thesis that then led to a Nobel Prize, she ate so much peanut butter, she told us. So it kind of became a part of her work. So she donated a jar of her favorite brand of peanut butter because it kept her going while she was doing this very intense work.